To Baxter Carter, every machine had a soul. Engines were honest, hulls were stubborn, and jump drives were dramatic liars. As a senior engineer in the Interstellar Engineering Corps, he trusted systems, but only after checking them twice. That's why the anomaly bothered him. It wasn't a catastrophe, just a subtle wrongness, tiny fluctuations in star lane stability that shouldn't exist. Trade routes were bending. Navigation charts needed constant correction. Baxter flagged it immediately. Across 3 systems, his sister Lumi felt it long before any sensor did. Aboard the exploration vessel Helios Wake, she stood barefoot in the observation ring, her skin glowing softly as she listened to the hum of space. Energy patterns shivered like a cracked note in a song. She pressed her palm to the glass. "Something ancient is waking up," she whispered. Meanwhile, on Dock Theta, their brother Kade was inside an engine that technically wasn't broken yet. "That's when you fix it best," he always said. His wrist console chirped with the same alert Baxter had flagged. Kade grinned, smearing grease across his cheek. "Well, that looks expensive. 3 siblings, 3 lives moving in different directions, and 1 problem large enough to pull them all back together." Baxter's ship, the Steady Horizon, wasn't built for emotional reunions. Kade boarded first, dropping a tool bag that clanged like a weapon. "Miss me?" he asked. Baxter hugged him hard. "You smell like ion fuel," Kade just said. "Correct." Lumi arrived last, drifting down the docking corridor, glowing softly as station lights dimmed in response. She hugged both brothers gently, as if afraid to break them. Within minutes, they were arguing. Baxter wanted data. Kade wanted to poke the anomaly. Lumi wanted to listen. Their argument ended the Carter way by combining all 3 approaches and launching immediately. They found it in a dead system. No habitable worlds, no stations. Just an enormous lattice of ancient structures orbiting a dying star, an alien relay network older than modern hyperspace. It pulsed weakly. Lumi gasped as the system responded to her presence, energy flowing toward her like recognition. "It's not broken," she said softly. "It's lonely." Baxter analyzed the structure. "It's a stabilization grid," he realized. "Meant to hold star lanes together after a collapse-scale war." Kade stared. "And nobody's maintained it for centuries. The system was failing. And if it collapsed, half the sector would follow." They weren't alone. Corporate probes appeared within hours, followed by ships, then offers. The Heliox Combine wanted exclusive control of the network. Baxter refused politely. They didn't take that well. When Heliox tried to seize control, the siblings responded instinctively. Baxter rerouted control access. Kade cleanly and reversibly sabotaged their power relays. And Lumi shielded the network, weaving light and energy into a protective field. They didn't fight. They outperformed. And the galaxy noticed, but the Heliox Combine didn't retreat. They escalated, arriving with contracts instead of cannons, promising responsible stewardship. Baxter read every clause and found the poison hidden in the margins. Exclusive access, weaponized priority lanes, profit-driven throttling. "This would fracture half the sector," Baxter said flatly. Kade leaned back. "And they'd charge extra for not collapsing space." Lumi stood silently, glowing as the network pulsed behind her. "It doesn't want to belong to anyone." Heliox didn't care. They launched an override sequence. The ancient system screamed. When the override hit, Lumi nearly collapsed. Energy surged through her as Baxter caught her, shouting orders while Kade rerouted power manually. Through the pain, Lumi listened. The Ghost Network wasn't just machinery. It was a distributed intelligence, waiting for caretakers, not owners. She opened herself to it, not controlling but listening. The system stabilized, but at a cost. If the network fell, she'd fall with it. Baxter made a decision he'd sworn never to make. He bypassed Core's authorization and broadcast the truth on open channels, raw data, full transparency. "This network belongs to everyone," he said calmly. "And if Heliox takes it, star lanes will collapse under profit algorithms. Help us stabilize it or watch trade burn." Responses flooded in from independent traders, engineers, even rival corporations. Heliox tried to jam the signal. Kade physically cut their relay ship out of hyperspace. "Oops," he said. Slipped. With dozens of volunteer crews arriving, the siblings coordinated like they'd done it their whole lives. Baxter handled structural integration. Kade trained crews on ancient tech. Lumi guided everyone, translating the network's needs into something humans could understand. The Ghost Network stabilized. Heliox retreated, exposed and disgraced. For the first time in centuries, space breathed easily. Weeks later, the siblings stood on the observation platform. The network pulsed steadily, alive but no longer alone. "We did it," Baxter exhaled. Kade grinned. "We didn't break anything permanent." Lumi smiled softly. "It's not finished," Baxter agreed. "No, it's just beginning." They didn't claim ownership. They founded a trust shared, transparent, and protected. Because that's what Carters did. They fixed what mattered. The Ghost Network was no longer a crisis. It was a responsibility. Baxter declined a prestigious promotion to become the chief systems architect of the Ghost Network. "Trust. I want to protect the roads everyone uses," he said. Lumi's bond with the network deepened, but it no longer hurt. She became known as the listener, a translator between ancient systems and modern minds. And Kade, surprisingly, stayed. He opened a massive workshop, teaching Carter-style repairs. No shortcuts, no temporary fixes, and no ownership without responsibility. One evening, he admitted quietly, "Dad would have liked this." Baxter nodded. Mom too. And then their parents came to visit. Taylor and Cerise Carter watched their children command a space they'd helped save. Baxter hugged them tightly. Lumi glowed brighter than usual, and Kade failed completely at pretending not to get emotional. Taylor smiled. "You fixed something that mattered," he said. "All of you." Years later, the Ghost Network was a foundation of interstellar life. The Carter siblings were remembered not as rulers, but as caretakers. Baxter taught engineers to listen. Lumi helped ancient things remember their purpose. Kade's students spread across the galaxy, fixing problems before they became disasters. When asked how they did it, Baxter once answered, "We didn't build something perfect. We built something shared." And we stayed. The Carter legacy endured not in monuments, but in systems that worked, families that stayed together, and a universe that was a little less broken than before. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe for more stories.